Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. You joined me on a windy day. I can see my new friend Pat's V60 Polestar charging over there. And I'm here with Joe Meyer with Magna. This building is just insane. Joe, how's it going, sir?
Great to see you here.
Yep, thanks for having us. Would you mind taking us on a little bit of a tour of what you guys do here, as well as, you know, sort of what it's like to work for Magna Seating? You've worked for them longer than pretty much anyone.
Absolutely, it'd be my pleasure. You know, we actually opened this building in January of 2017, and it was very deliberate. We wanted to make sure we were matching the trends in the market, and we wanted an exciting workplace, somewhere that was much more dynamic. It felt very, specific to what we do each day. So you'll see elements in here that reflect our design, our studio types of inputs into the day-to-day work, and you'll see a lot of effort into collaboration spaces. Now, obviously, that was well before the pandemic, but it still is a benefit to us. You can see we have a full parking lot, and we are here now at least 3 days a week, many times 5 days a week.
Great, and you have EV charging out front, which is great for people to see.
Absolutely.
So a big trend towards sustainable transportation coming. We've also seen in some other videos your freeform technology. We've seen different materials, and overall, I think it'd be cool just to see how you and your colleagues operate inside your workplace.
Great, come on in.
Awesome. So we have to use the revolving door from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. What's that all about?
Just a security piece.
Yeah.
So welcome to the lobby here, right? Obviously trying to make a big statement, a big impression right when one walks in the door. A lot of digital media, and certainly a change in this environment. No longer that kind of stuffy setting. This is one where we're advertising our interaction with the community. We've got on display a seat that is part of our Michigan Science Center initiative, where we help the Michigan Science Center to totally revamp their entire theater. And we've also got a lot of our different awards on display here. We are being recognized through the pandemic and over the last decade routinely for innovation, speed to market, and really just matching with the trends. Our roadmap is constantly analyzing this BEV evolution and what technology seats can bring that are unique in this new era.
Can you explain a little bit high level for some of our viewers who may not have seen other Magna Seating videos with us to really showcase what do you guys do? Ultimately, you design, engineer, and make seats to go into vehicles, but how is that really done?
No, great question. So at the end of the day, I think the end consumer and the average person, even an auto junkie, doesn't really understand maybe the guts of a seat. The seats many times will have 100, 120 subcomponents within, and it's that skin, that surface that the end user really experiences. But what's so important to us is it's the center of the consumer experience. When they sit down in that seat, they need to be comfortable, it needs to be cleanable. We want it to have sustainable materials when possible. It obviously has to make them safe. Everything else in the vehicle environment is essentially designed around the seat, the steering wheel, the pedals, the instrument panel, all of those things. They start with that experience. Now, as the vehicles evolve, we may have fewer of those driving, steering wheels, but you're still going to have people interacting with one another inside the car. The beauty of a seat is it's primarily made up of a seat cover, a trim cover. Those can be made from vinyls, PURs, PVCs, fabrics. We also then have foam underneath it, and there's all sorts of new technology we're working on to make that foam maybe not polyurethane, maybe different types of chemistry, such that it'll be more sustainable. And then there's typically a metal substructure, a skeleton, if you will, underneath. That provides that foundation for the occupant. And with it, one of the most important parts of the seat is it has to be something that can move. You have to be able to allow the occupant to get into a position to be relatively close to the steering wheel, to the pedals, to any other buttons they need to access. And so sometimes that's done mechanically, often electromechanical, and nowadays a lot of full power systems. And what we're really trying to bring to market now is intuitive solutions, such that when the occupant sits down, a series of sensors that we've developed can analyze your body and actually intuit what is best for you and auto adjust. And that might change in the summer or the winter if you're wearing a winter coat or you're just simply sitting differently in the car.
Very interesting. Love the high level intro there. Obviously you can go super in depth and super nerdy, but take us on a tour of this building if you don't mind. I'd love to see what goes on here.
Great. Come on with me. We'll go down this hall here. Part of the redesign was really focused on using the spaces in a smarter way. So these are some of the very rare conference rooms you'll find in the building, but these are here specifically for us to interact with our customers.
So you said rare conference rooms.
Right.
I like the sound of that.
Because we've really promoted a lot more of those social settings where you can walk right up, you can ad hoc grab a high top table or a small booth and have a more constructive conversation with a colleague without disrupting, let's say, that main area where everyone's got their standard desk.
Sure. Sounds about right. So some of the conversations with people who may visit in will happen in these rooms here, but overall, yeah. Sounds like a better place to work, I would say.
And so one of the great things is we'll have customers come here sometimes and they'll camp out almost. They'll be here for the whole day. So we might have them in meetings for 2 hours here or 2 hours there. If they need a breakout, we have the ability to give them kind of a dedicated office for the day. Again, very flexible in nature.
Very nice. Very cool.
Now,
this is like sort of how to build the perfect building, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, right here on this wall, you now get a great showpiece for us. This speaks to the legacy of innovation and design in this building. It is a huge recognition of all the different patents that have been approved here. And many of them, what you'll find, deal with mechanization, the movement of that seat, whether it's to reconfigure it such that you can load cargo or make you more comfortable, like a 0G type position, or for ingress and egress. You know, Magna talks about mobility for everyone and everything. We are really at the forefront of that. We're the ones who pioneered stow and go seating. That's a Magna seating patent that actually our partner, now Stellantis, formerly of the Chrysler family, they get an exclusivity to, but it's our patent from the ground up. And it revolutionized this ability to completely convert a vehicle from an 8-person carrier to a cargo carrier in 60 seconds.
It's so cool. We actually just in a previous video showed that, showed the little clip of how that operates. So I'll leave a link to the description below talking about how that all works.
Awesome. We're really proud of it. It's in its 3rd or 4th generation now, and it just keeps getting better, right?
Super cool.
So follow me. I'll take you down here to where we do some more of our specialized prototyping and pre-development work. So we have a lot of unique kind of cargo areas and whatnot where our team can essentially rent or check out one of these rooms for a couple months or a period of time, and we can bring a body and white vehicle in. They can do full teardowns.
So how do you get the vehicle here? Do you just wheel it down the...
Absolutely. The hallways were designed to fit traditional vehicles, whether on casters or otherwise. We just had a Ford F-150 Lightning in the training room next to you just last week.
Wow, that's really cool. So you'll just wheel them right through here.
Notice the corners? These are chamfered
Nice.
specifically so we can pivot and bring a vehicle into our gallery.
That is so cool. And then you can see, of course, all of the garage space there for that. Super neat.
So coming right here to the corner, we've got two exciting spaces to show you. And this really starts to peel the onion for someone who doesn't understand seats. So first is this room here. This is our textile room. So you can see we have on hand sample rolls of all the different textiles and materials that we use at all of our different plants here in North America and often also in Europe and Asia. The reason they're here is so that our team, not only once we get sourced a program and have developed it, but once there's maybe cost reduction initiatives or design evolution going on, we have the ability to come down here and use the exact same material they have in production to do that study. We can mock it up and we can quickly then assess it with the customer.
Really cool. So you have literally everything on display here, just a sea of different textiles. And can you tell me a little bit about the types of materials you would use here? Of course, the traditional leather, but what about new materials?
Yeah, so that's a good point. So we do still have leather, animal-based, right? There is still certainly a consumer base that wants that handcrafted leather. We also, though, have new alternatives like PURs and PVCs. Those are gaining a lot of momentum. In Germany, those are often referred to as Kunstleder or artificial artistic leather. And so in in the new era, they get better and better at looking and feeling like true leather, but the reality is they wrinkle less, they last longer, and they're better at cleanability often. So it's really a part of the market we're seeing, especially new entrants in battery electric that have a sustainability tilt to their angle. They're able to leverage off of what we're doing, and many times then we can find a material that we've tested and proven, and they'll match it to the door and the instrument panel, and they'll assign one, and then we can develop the entire seat set based on that.
Super cool. A lot of our conversation that we deal with, of course, reviewing cars on our side is talking about material usage in a car. We found that from the early days of non-leather-like material, it's gotten so much better. Even today, these things are feeling great. And again, lasting, I would say outlasting leather in many cases.
Absolutely. And this is huge. When you buy a premium vehicle, in 3 months in, you're getting that wear and tear, especially on the driver's seat, from what we call ingress egress as you enter and exit. That can be something of displeasure, right? 90 days, 180 days in. And so if we can find a more durable material that's now made from vegan and, maybe fruits, there's a lot of things that our team's doing to really, expand on that. And I think, your colleague was at the M1 show we did, and there we were advertising materials that are 70% recycled and renewable, coming from PET plastic bottles. This for me is a very exciting era in the whole market, because we've got that catalyst to kind of push us into new areas of innovation.
Really cool. Well, thanks for showing us this room. This is just fascinating to see, just rolls and rolls of textiles around.
Perfect. And so, the trim cover only works if it's got something to attach to and to mount to. And so, my colleague talked about freeform today. That's where we take that skin and we mold it to a shape, something that really has never been done. Well, there's still a huge, huge volume of vehicles out there that is using a more traditional tie down, whether it's through a hog ring or a hook, or in some cases, what is commonly referred to as Velcro, we call hook and loop. Mm-hmm. And that has to go to the foam. So I'm going to bring you into the foam lab here.
The foam lab. Cool.
So this gives you that same feeling now in the foam. So that's what supports the seat, whether it's in the cushion underneath your hips and thighs, in the seat back supporting your thorax, or even in the headrest supporting your head. Each of these is of a different density. And many times with our customers, even within a single cushion, they may have a firmer density on the outside of the seat and a softer, more plush version where you're going to sink in, right, where your spine comes. In this case, my colleague here is an expert in either hand skiving with the saw and the tool he has there, or through a programmable machine where we can put CAD data directly into the machine and make a prototype within a matter of hours or minutes.
Super cool. And some of this foam actually gets even almost to structure levels of hardness.
Absolutely, absolutely. Most of the traditional front seats and second rows, you'll see a combination of softer foam with some firmness. As you get into the rear seats in particular, and especially on a bulkhead, you might just see more of that structural foam, even getting into the EPP arena, right? Expanded poly, I'm forgetting that exact code.
Great.
So this is another very exciting part of this here that allows us to really experiment with true comfort, and then also with that styling, the shape, the bolster height, etc.
Very cool. Well, thanks for showing us this. Just cool machines, of course. This must be a pretty cool place to come and hang out and cut foam all day. I mean, that'd be freaking awesome.
So we're going to unveil for you now how these two doors lead right to this elevator to the second floor. And that's where we have a team of people, many of them in a journeyman type situation, learning sewing technique from the ground up. It's one of those skills in the automotive market that we're worried is starting to be lost. And we put a ton of effort into making sure we've got the right people with the right skills to truly design trim covers and seats. So we're grabbing people from fashion industry, from the Center for Creative Studies, art schools and whatnot, and all of them are embedded in this team up there for what we call consumer interface products, whether it's the foam they sit on or the trim cover that they interface with directly.
Super cool. So basically a whole bunch of people learning up there.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's super
and
neat.
Magna investing in them. We're investing in a multi-year journeyman process that they then can benefit from down the road, much like me 27 years ago, starting in a rotation program here.
Really, really cool.
Hi, good to see you again. So we're here now in the trim studio. This is where we do a ton of our development work and that first off type of brainstorming and tinkering to create all sorts of new seat designs and to really prove out whether something's going to be feasible when we need to make 100 a day or 800 a day. Unfortunately, we can't span the camera around the room because of the sensitive nature. All of the different projects in here are mostly in a pre-production setting and not made it to market yet. But we have customers exposed in this room from Europe, North America, across all sorts of segments. The beauty is we're able to use the exact same equipment in this space that we use at our trim facilities down in Mexico, where we have 3 massive facilities and thousands of employees mass producing covers. This gives you an example of a cover like that where we've got the seat back and the seat front all integrated into one system, all being evaluated here and proven out, if you will, in that early stage.
Joe, where do you have us in here now?
Yep, so now we're inside of the room where we're actually working with the Gerber cutting machine. I've got Jake Lockwood, one of our apprentices. He's over there right now and he's going to be working with a 3 mil vinyl material and a 6 mil. And through programming in this machine, the interface with CAD data, we can allow this to make perfect cuts, to make individual pieces to be sewn together then by the apprentices outside.
Very cool, very cool. So let's see this Gerber cutting machine in action here. So Jake's got it all teed up basically. Things are happening. Dang. It rips. So you can see on the screen here the cutouts, and then here goes the machine. Wow. And that's all it is, just a couple seconds then. Pretty amazing.
It is. We've really transformed our ability to speed up the development process through equipment like this and through expertise that we develop in-house by investing in people through an apprentice program that creates long-term employees, people that have a vision for a roadmap that they can continue on here.
And how would someone find out about these apprentice programs?
So we do all sorts of things, whether it's through social media or on our website. We also have a series of events throughout the year relative to different job fairs. We're connected to several universities and schools for co-op programs and summer internships. So there's a lot of different ways people get involved. But in Jake's case, it was, through word of mouth, through a family member, much like a person like me talking about what a great experience it's been with people in other parts of, their development career path.
So if you're into fashion or even anything automotive related, definitely check out the website. I'll leave a link in the description to the program details, and hopefully some of our viewers can join.
Perfect. I think, what this really does illustrate in the end is the artistic side of seats. A lot of people are always focused on that exterior, and again, inside the vehicle, you spend more time there. You actually want that to be pleasing, authentic to your brand and your experience all the time you have with the car.
Great. Well, thanks for showing us this machine. This is pretty crazy.
Welcome to our Product Awareness Center. This is deliberately a high traffic area. We put it in the heart of the building, right on the second floor in the center, because we wanted people not just from engineering, but from costing and quality and purchasing to all be able to congregate here. Naturally, as they're going to and from the kitchen or a meeting, as they're passing it, it sparks conversation. What you get are seats in various array or degrees of teardown, because this is an area for, a playground setting where engineers and people can come and they can analyze and compare on a BMW front seat how many different bladders they might be using for their system. Is it pneumatic versus an electromechanical system? And they can then compare it to a Cadillac right next to it, or to a Chrysler Pacifica, or to a Ford. We deliberately have that diversity in this room so that you're getting that kind of cross-functional comparison. You get the ability to say, how does one person maybe do that more cost effectively? How do they optimize that experience? In many cases, you get to see the subsystem that I talked about around that skeleton. This is a electromechanical lumbar system. This is a static spring system that provides some support to your body. Similarly here in the cushion. Now this cushion also has a vent system where there's a blower here and here that can push that forced air onto the occupant, helping to cool you. You also see here a cushion length adjuster. Many times in vehicle, people don't understand that there's all of that mechanization happening behind the scenes, behind the curtain. In this room, our engineers, our costing people can come and they can analyze a polyurethane foam pad, and they can look at how many different attachments were required on one versus another. They can determine whether or not there's multiple densities. We also have the ability to investigate the plastic parts. So you may have a SLA or a production injection molded plastic part. And finally, you can look at something very complex, like a vinyl or leather wrapped back panel. So this is actually two pieces. You have that surface material with an injection molded plastic part, and then a series of operations to fuse the two. This is something that's very exciting for us because we have now launched in high volume production the freeform solution, which takes the two different processes with a lot of labor and intensive capital down to a molded single trim cover. Something that we think is revolutionizing the industry.
Very cool, very cool. And we've seen that before as well. We've shown that in a previous video, and it's just such cool technology.
It is. We're super excited about it, and we believe we've only scratched the surface. You know, Cadillac adopted it first, but it's now on vehicles in production with Ford. It's launching with a new energy partner in the next 5 weeks. You know, we really think that, you know, in this new era, it's going to help create totally exciting new vehicle environments.
Super cool. Thanks for showing us this.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.